course.
You guys know how much it takes to get a surrogate to have your baby, right?
A lot.
I heard it's like 10 to 70 G's, yeah, something like that.
That's a huge.
I heard
10 to 70?
Yeah, I heard like 15 or 30 is possible too.
It could be upwards of 170K.
Because it depends on the vessel, right? Are you putting your kid in a Hyundai Elantra, or are you putting your kid in a Rolls Royce?
Yeah, what's the difference? I mean, is it like one person, like, I don't know, someone you just meet at Walmart, maybe that's doing the Salvation Army bell?
I think it's the service itself. It's like having a really expensive client liaison. It's like, yeah, that person will get a fee, but the brokerage that's like administering this whole entire program gets a pretty big
It's
cut.
like getting a really good lead.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because you don't want them smoking or fucking drinking or whatever when they're holding the baby.
So there's really like a big amount of research that goes into both sides, and that's kind of where a lot of the money goes.
And I heard there's even like not direction, but kind of like specifics of a lifestyle. Like you gotta have a smoothie a day. I want you to like make sure you do a 2-hour walk a day. So there's like a whole thing that comes with
like, are you a fit mom?
yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so recently there's a new, not really a new way, but I think a way that people are going to start doing a little more. You can now get it done for 10K.
Whoa, no.
So they found a discount way to
There's
do
a
it?
McDonald's one.
There's a Temu.
Sort of.
Temu version?
So the
Chinese baby factory?
Kinda. So now you can get a womb for hire, 10K, by getting it done in Thailand.
Oh shit.
Dude, for 9 months, 10K.
Yeah.
So what do? Your husband just goes down there anyway and fucks a girl?
Kind of a steal.
It's like a double deal?
He's like, fuck the surrogate, I'll just make her pregnant.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. So
It's just not even the right egg.
I know somebody who did this, and one of the biggest things for this person was being able to visit the surrogate regularly. If they're in Thailand,
Yeah, it's
that's
just
kind of wild.
I hope you like pad thai.
Yeah. It's all down to trust.
You
But
gotta
yeah,
you gotta trust a video basically. A FaceTime.
And picking them up.
I would want a Muay Thai practitioner mother, but I don't want her to be doing Muay Thai during pregnancy.
Oh yeah, you just want her to be really into it.
So she has the
maybe-
genetics.
Maybe she's practicing but not sparring.
Probably, yeah.
So they're not the only country that does this. The leading country that used to do it was Ukraine,
For surrogacy? Yeah. Whoa.
where you can do like surrogacy from afar.
What stopped it from being like the lead country?
Little.
I heard there's a wheat shortage. Maybe they're hungry.
No. They just don't need to do it anymore because they have so much money.
Oh,
wow.
my bad.
They're out of poverty.
I see. No wonder it's sending so much money.
America sent them a
It's
lot.
not available anymore, obviously, because of everything that's happening over there. But now Thailand is stepping up and making it available to Americans like us. In the U.S., about 4,000 births a year are done this way.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of a lot of. There's some demand.
Does it change their race?
I don't think it changes their race.
Maybe the baby's affinity for the food that they eat.
Oh yeah. Does it change like little
Yeah,
flavor
they
profile?
start to eat like you, fucking death spices and everything. But yeah, it's like a send an egg. Like then they do the
Didn't like
service.
one of the Kardashians do surrogacy and she never actually got pregnant? She was talking about how like
I think it was
I'm not really
Chloe?
connecting with my baby.
Oh yeah, we were talking something about like how there was no connection.
Dude, that has to be a caveat of it, right? Like that has to be the trade-off.
There's many
Like a
caveats, yeah.
So one of the wildest things, right? So like I said, I had a friend who did this. They said that the day that they got the baby, when the surrogate talked, because they were holding the baby like at the other part of the room, and when the surrogate was talking in the bed, the baby kept turning its head like it's their mom, basically. Because for a while, that's like their whole voice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Connection
That's
you
like
can't
8-9
replace.
months of like literally forming your brain, and then the same sound that you're hearing.
And smell.
That's got to
Their
be
whole
the
life. You hear their
that's gotta
whole
be
life.
the most important imprinting phase.
Not that this is what it is, but what do you think of the visual of these surrogate mothers being from like really poor areas of like a third world section?
I mean, it's kind of like the Nike factory.
Like, yeah, I guess it is kind of like the Nike factory.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at that option, it's because you're also in a situation or
That you can afford it.
afford it, but maybe it's also because you're poor and that's the only option, but you really want a kid. Maybe like
Or you're talking about the mom, or you're talking about the one that's paying for the service?
the person paying for it. Because you're also paying for the cheapest version of that service.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's like
poor supporting poor.
yeah, you only got so many options. And maybe if you're doing that, if you're going for the poor, this is my assumption, but if you're going for the poorest option, it's because you can't afford better and because there's something with your situation where you can't have that baby.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
right,
you're just
right,
not
right.
into brands. You're like, I don't need all that shit.
Maybe you like discounts, like you're actually rich, but
Like the generics is just as good.
It's like a rich Chinese lady, where you're upper class, but you're still stingy.
Like going for the cheapest one though.
Aspirin. It's like I'll just take that thing.
Yeah.
yeah, you get the CVS brand. You don't get the actual. Yeah.
Save a couple cents.
I mean, is it exploitation if they're getting fuck tons of money in their like country's value?
Definitely not.
I don't think so.
There's just something I don't know.
It's not like she's getting paid $5.
There's the thing that I'm thinking. Even though this is not probably what's happening, but we have such as humans. There's such a great reoccurring thing when you see something like this in the world, where it's like, oh, hey, we can get all these guys who don't have. They have less chance to make this kind of money to do it.
Yeah.
There's always some fucking thing in the middle that ends up taking way too much, and they still end up with very little.
Yeah, somebody's probably still just pimping these bodies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Oh, like she's not making 10K.
Right,
There's
it's
a
like-
pimp that's making like 9,999.
I just see the vision of them like finishing the pregnancy and at the end going, okay, so we took some fees for this, and
Yeah.
you have to give us a little bit because of that, and then this, and then they end up like way under what the house is getting.
Kind of like the cobalt miners, right? Like the miners aren't balling out. The mining companies probably
who owns
are,
it, yeah.
and then the people that are paying for it, they're paying the miners, and then the workers are just.
And it just feels like maybe in countries that are poorer, there's less standard and there's less ways to regulate something
Yeah.
going wrong or something going incorrect.
I mean, they can't hire lawyers.
Egg and like who knows? Like
Yeah.
maybe the standard's different. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, global trade always opens the door for like total exploitation.
Yeah.
Right.
Like completely.
No.
No, maybe, yeah. It's a conspiracy theory.
I love globalism because it gives me a chance to buy really cheap products. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what's happening on the other side.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, okay, I'm just not going to look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But then
me
what's
too.
worse? Like, here's the funny thing. There's these things, and then there's those other things where it's like those above ground burials where they were like, it was like super more expensive and more like earthy and more like eco-friendly to not be buried, and you just become a fucking tree, and that ended up being a total scam.
Oh.
Dumping bodies
I
in
remember
fucking the backs of the rooms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
remember
didn't-
It was just fucking mass graves.
yeah.
That happens all the time, too. They always find out that, like, some cremation place has been just chucking bodies somewhere.
Yeah, they've just been chucking
Wow.
your grandma. Yeah.
Doing wild shit.
It's almost like a thing where either way you look at it, there's going to be evils, but it's kind of funny where historically it seems like these ones are easier to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's at such a distance, and it's like it's so easy to tell you, the American, that everything's fine.
And they're just preying on the poor again, right? Like the people who can't afford the more quality thing that has been vetted or whatever. It's like some people that's their option. So.
The leverage feels way too strong on the side of the establishment,
Legit.
and like the temptation's got to be pretty fucking high to just exploit both sides. But who knows?
Same as it ever was.
Yeah, especially if it's at a savings. It's like, hey, you're already getting this for 10K. Like, there's no cheaper place in the world to do
No.
this. So then you're like, yeah, what's my alternative? You know, if you don't want to pay more.
Blessed we are that we could even do this though.
Yeah, from across the fucking world.
Like we could be like, here's the babe. Oh, he doesn't work up over here. And it's like, whoa, that's fucking makes my brain explode.
Yeah.
It's got to make him like 1% time.
I think so.
I think so.
Regionally. His genetics are a little funny.
Because then sometimes the surrogate will then come to the States to make sure they're American born, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like they'll like make sure that like, yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's
Because they still want to like get all the benefits, and they'll like play the game that needs to be played to make sure everything is like the way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot going into it. But at least, you know what? At least it opens the door for people that couldn't do surrogacy because of the money. Like at least that's like there's an accessibility there. You know, otherwise there's no game in town, right?
Surrogacy from across the world seems a little risky to me. You know, it just makes me a little nervous. You know.
Ooh, live a little, dude.
But isn't it funny though? Like, wouldn't you trust it a little more if it was a Singaporean company and they just used all Singaporeans?
Because you just feel like they do it right.
By bias, yeah.
Singapore just feels like
Only because I've been there before and I saw how clean and amazing it is.
The rail system.
I've never been to Thailand.
Yeah, it's funny the way like you think of these things.